Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. So today I'm actually going to be picking out and designing my first set of tools. So I'm going to have a tactical dent training set of tools designed by me. And it's pretty exciting because I'm always looking for tools for my students and myself, and I always feel like I'm developing a set that's like not there. You know what I mean? Like I look at all these other tool sets, and they're either like super sharp tools that are geared for hail damage technicians, or they're just massively bloated sets of tools where 20 or 30 tools in that set have no use at all. And so I'm always customizing and designing my own sets of tools to essentially fit my students' needs, and a lot of times we're replicating the tools that I have here and that I use, most commonly. So I use them a lot. My students end up using them a lot because they see the value in where and why I use these tools for the certain jobs. I get that a lot of, especially my advanced training, a lot of the technicians come here and they're like, man, the tools that you switched me up onto has like made a huge difference in the game. So I mean that's part of it as well. That's like knowing which tools are going to make your job, your life easier. And like I always say with paintless dent removal, anytime that you can make the job easier and you can make your life easier, you're going to have a cleaner repair because essentially that's just the way it is. So the more metal you move, the least amount of poke marks, blase, on and on and on. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, because I know a lot of you guys out there that might just be getting in paintless dent removal, you're not going to be able to understand the slang and the lingo and all this kind of stuff. And you probably, from an outsider looking in, you look at this going, man, I don't see no difference between this set of tools from eBay or this set of tools from PDR Finesse or some of the other really good tool companies. I don't see any difference. That's because normally you can't. You're not going to be able to see that by looking at them online. The big difference of a quality tool, and a non-quality tool is the tempering. Okay, I'll give you guys a little story. So I had a guy that just came off the street and walked in my shop one day, and he says to me, man, he goes, hey, I got this tool set to sell. I paid $1,700 for this master set on eBay. It's like, whatever, 100 tools or whatever, and he tells me that he paid $1,700 for it, which was probably not true. But he goes on to say that, it's 50, 60 tools or something like that, and goes out to his car, said, okay, let's check them out. Goes out to his car, brings them in. Of course, it's the cheap set of tools from eBay. Although he did have this one door jammer in there that I really wanted. So the door jammer cost about $100. Keep that in mind, okay? So there's, out of 50, 60 tools, there's one little door jammer in there that I knew was a good tool. And it was made by a cheaper tool manufacturer, but they came out with something cool, And so I'm looking at the whole set, but I just keep looking at that door jammer. Like, I don't want anything to do with the other tools, except I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe I could make a bendable set. So he tells me he wants $500 for him. And I look at him and I say, let me show you why these tools are not worth $500. He's like, sure. So I go grab the thickest rod that he has in that set. I pick it up, lay it on the ground, and step on the middle of it and bend it like a pretzel. So he's just looking at me like, oh my God, So I go over and grab one of my PDR Finesse tools that's way thinner diameter. And I look at him and say, well, try to do that with this tool. He's a bigger guy than I am. He's kind of a big dude. So he's over there, cranking on it and bending on it, and all this kind of stuff. And I said, this is exactly why your tool set is not worth even $500. So I talked to him a little bit. He needs some money, things like that. I run over to the bank, end up giving him $200 for like a 50-piece tool set and a $100 door jammer that I was likely going to order anyway. So for whatever reason, they were way ahead of the curve on this door jammer latching mechanism that holds the door in place. And I still have that door jammer today. So definitely a good $200 spent. And I still have this set of tools that occasionally, when I get into an area where I don't have a tool made, I will take it and go out to the hitch of my truck and bend this freaking tool to any design that I want. And it saved me a couple times on motorcycle tanks. So it is good to have a bendable set around there, but you don't want that as your main set of tools. I mean, you want a strong set of tools. Like I like to tell the guys out there, and a lot of you veterans will know this, but anybody who's beginning paintless dent removal may not understand the magnitude of what a good set of tools will do for you. So PDR Finesse tools are made out of 44 Rockwell hardness. Really, really strong, no flex at all. So that takes out one dynamic. When you're pushing a dent, okay, especially when you're just beginning, you'll be pushing that dent. You're trying to find the tip of your tool. You're trying to move the dent. You're trying to move the metal up. The last thing that you want is to add a third dynamic, okay? The last thing that you want is to have the tool bowing in the center. So you actually got to plug that dynamic into pushing the panel and pushing your dent up. So now you got to get your tool precisely where it's supposed to be on that dent. And then you got to push that dent up with the right amount of pressure, but now you got to calculate a bend or a bow in the tool as the pressure's going in. It adds a third dynamic that could literally make or break you. I mean, really, especially at the beginning phases of this. I was fortunate enough when I started, I had a pretty decent set of tools. It was back when Dean King made killer tools. I don't know how their tools are today, but they really haven't evolved from, like you could buy my same set, I think, back when I first bought them, like today. They really haven't evolved, okay? So, but the tools are phenomenal, and I still use a lot of them today. But that being said, Ike from PDR Finesse is driving here. In fact, he got in last night, and he's bringing a trailer of tools to my shop. So I'm gonna hand pick a set, and I'm working with PDR Finesse on this project because they are, in my opinion, their tools are 44 Rockwell hardness, and they're the most consistent tempered tools in the industry. They are absolutely amazing tools. The handles are comfortable. And I'm going to work with them directly to not only build a set of some of the current tools they have, but in addition to that, I'm going to be doing some custom bends and things like that I have. So they're going to be manufacturing some different tools based on some of the stuff that I use day to day. So phenomenal, and I'm going to be even dropping a web seminar about how each and every one of these tools work, and how they're applied on a day-to-day basis in a real-world environment. So my goal is to have such a well-rounded set that somebody could use it for door dings and function flawlessly. Somebody could use the whole set for hail damage and function flawlessly. And to top it off, I'm going to toss in a blending hammer. So wish me luck here, guys, and really I'm doing this. Look, if it was only for my students that came through here and I gave them this set that they could go home with and just have an amazing experience, then it would be well worth it for me. But anyhow, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast today. I appreciate you coming along, and hope you guys got a little bit of value out of that, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.